Good morning students and welcome to our YouTube channel Eng.Med Modern School. So, in the previous video we have just started the chapter number 8, that was soil. Okay students, in that we have just seen up to the, first of all we have seen the introduction part which is on the page number 99 about soil, what is soil, and here we have seen the pictures what are topsoil, subsoil and parent material. This all the things we have seen in the previous video, and also we have seen the soil formation of 3 stages. Which 3 stages? Stage number 1, in that the big stones or rocks are just converted into small stones, and then after this are converted into some small fine particles, and then after they absorb in the third stage minerals and salts. Okay students, so again reading stage 1, that is big pieces of rocks near the surface begins to break down due to the strong winds, heavy rains, storms, ice, and sometimes by certain chemical reactions. Stage 2, small rocks are further broken down and the upper layer gets filled with very fine rock particles, microbes such as bacteria and fungi. Produced humus. Humus is formed from a dead and decomposed remain of plant materials. It improves the fertility of the soil. Stage 3, minerals and salts get absorbed by the ground along with water and complete the process of soil formation. Due to the presence of minerals and humus, this soil is now suitable for plant to grow. And here the pictures are given of stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Okay students, now types of weathering. So, how much types of weathering just affects that soil? Let us see that students. First, there are mainly 2 types of weathering, physical and chemical weathering. See here, physical weathering, what is it? See here, occurrence when conditions such as temperature variations, growth of plant roots and animal activities and water or frost cause rock to break down. It is a purely mechanical process in which the composition of rock does not change. Means the first physical change, physical weathering is that, what is it? In the physical weathering, just it is done by the human activities or by done physically by the animals or anything else. Okay students. And chemical weathering students. So, in the chemical weathering, it is done by the chemicals. See here I am just reading that chemical weathering on the other hand occurs when water dissolved away certain minerals and chemicals that rock contains, thus changing their chemical composition. Factors such as temperature variations, activities of plants and animals, water and wind that cause weathering are called agents of weathering. Now, factors affecting soil formation. So, which factors affect in the soil formation? First is climate, means the climate change, due to that also the soil is formed. These rocks are just converted into small particles and small stones. Then after, properties of the parent rock, means the depends on the properties of the parent rock, that how much it is hard or anything else. Slope of land, means the slope of the land, that how much the slope is there. And biological factors, means some of the microbes and other things, biological things just affect that for the soil formation. Let us see one by one. The first is climate. So, how does the climate affect on the soil formation? Let us see that the rate of soil formation and the type of soil formed depends on the climate of a place. Means it is depend on the climate of the place. Microbes are able to thrive in the place that are hot and moist. These microbes can act on the dead plants and animals, forming soil faster. Soil formation is therefore more rapid in hot, moist climates rather than cold and dry climates. See here, soil formation is more in the hotter region, okay students, and moist climates rather than the cold. This is because factors such as temperature variations, amount of rainfall and speed of winds are significant in hot and humid climate. So in the hot climate, the speed of wind and the rainfall, amount of the rainfall and temperature variation is more than the cold region. In cold and moist region, water freeze in the crack of rocks. Since water expand on freezing, it breaks the rock apart. In places where it is very windy, rocky are broken down by the winds. And then after the second property or affecting, that is properties of the parent rock. The composition of the parent rock also affects the kind of soil it forms. For example, if the parent rock is rich in calcium, the soil formation of weathering would be rich in calcium. If the parent rock is dark brown in color, the soil formed by the breakdown of this rock will be dark brown in color. Means any of the rock have rich calcium, or any of the rock have reached some of the minerals, other minerals, phosphorus or anything else. So the soil that is formed from that rock will have what? Reach that mineral. If the calcium is rich in that rock, then the rock which is formed soil, then the soil will have more calcium. If the rock is of brown color, then soil formation is also of brown color, dark brown color. Next, slope of land. The physical features of a region also plays an important role in the formation of soil. Mountain regions have a thinner layer of soil because rainwater tends to wash away the soil gradually, while plains have a thicker layer of soil. Since the soil remains relatively undisturbed by rainwater, what happens due to the slope of land? The waterfall, when the rain occurs, the water just flows in the speed, so that also affects on the soil formation. And biological factor, plants, animals and microbes also contribute to soil formation. The roots of plants grow into cracks present in the rock and over time increase the cracks and break down rocks. See, microorganisms accept the dead remain of plants and animals, producing humus to add to the soil. Means in the biological factor, what the animals and microbes that helps the rock to break down. And our next part is soil profile. What is soil profile? Let us see that. Soil profile that takes place in stages. As a result, well developed layer of soil are formed one below the other. Here the layers are given: O horizontal, A horizontal, B horizontal, C horizontal and bedrock. Okay. The first, here you can see one below the other. Typically 4 soil layers can be distinguished due to different in color, size of the particles. You can see the different in the color. The O horizon different color, A horizon different, B horizon different, C horizon different and bedrock also have different color. Okay students, now first is topsoil or A horizon. So topsoil, that is known as the topsoil. It is the uppermost layer. It consists of soft, dark colored and porous soil which can retain water. Plants are grown in topsoils. A thin layer over the topsoil called O horizon is rich in humus and therefore dark in color. So the topmost layer O horizon is rich in the humus, means they have more just humidity in that, means water part. Okay. And second one is subsoil. The B horizon is known as subsoil. So this layer is present just below the topsoil. After the topsoil, the B horizon or the subsoil comes. In that, what is this layer is present just below the topsoil and is rich in minerals and other organic materials. It is also tightly packed fine particles of soil along with partly weathering piece of rocks there are several cracks in this layer, means some of the cracks are just seen in that layer. Why? Because soil is just formed over there. And then comes third, sea horizon, in that this layer consists of partially broken or unbroken rock with cracks. See here in the sea horizon you can see the rocks in that, small rocks in that, and the fourth is, that is bed rock. Okay, this is the lowermost layer and consists of parent rock. It undergoes weathering and soil begins forming in this layer. The composition of rock in this layer actually determine what the soil would be rich in. Means the parent, this is the parent soil. From this we can say that this is rich in this mineral. Okay, and then after let's answer is given. I am just writing that answer on the board. First one, which of this would you find as part of soil? In which thing worms are there, insects are there, dead remain plants are there. So D, all of this. Second one, that is which of this contributes towards soil formation? So climate, yes, it is affect. Properties of rock, yes. Slope of land, yes. All these three, four, yes, three, that is all of this. And the next one is third one, which of the following, which of this would you find in hilly areas? Terrace farming. In the hilly areas you can find the terrace farming. Okay students, we can find terrace farming. And now moving further, composition of the soil. How much particle is there? See here I am first of all drawing that. So here 45% means you can say this is 50% and this is 45% of soil particles. And another 25%. So this is 25% of water. Okay, and these another 25% means this 25% of air, and the remaining 5%, that is organic matter. Okay students, organic matter. Let us read it. See here, soil essentially consists of four main constituent soil particles such as sand, clay, silts and pebbles. Organic matters, humus, water present in between and on top of soil particles, and air present within the soil particles. So these four things means 45% of soil particles, 25% of water, 25% of air and organic matter 5%. So these are the composition of soil. Soil is formed by these four things, and the difference in the proportion of this constituent is responsible for the different types of the soil. See here, there is an activity given to separate the various constituents of a sample a soil sample into different layers. Materials needed: soil samples, beakers, glass jars and water. Take a cup of soil full of a soil from a nearby garden, mix it with a glass of water in beaker, stir the mixture well and pour it into the glass jar. Allow it to stand undisturbed for 1 to 2 hours. Observe the jar. You can see some of the organic matter will be upper side water, you can see slits, you can see fine salts, you can see coarse sand, gravels and pebbles, you can see different layers of the soil can be observed in the jar. Conclusion: soil is made up of different substances that can be separated into layers. Okay, then after we will see the types of soils. Okay students, types of soils. So the types are sandy soil, clayey soil and loamy soil. Let us see one by one. See here, first of all, reading it, rub a pinch of a soil between your finger. So first of all, take a pinch of soil and just do this between your finger. Does it feel rough and glittery, smooth and slippery or crumbling? The feel of this particle soil is called texture. Different soil types have different textures because of their varying composition of the soil particles. Depending on the proportion of the soil, pebbles, sand, slate and clay, soil can be formed into 3 types: sandy, clay and loamy. So first of all, sandy soil. Sandy soil is made up of great proportion of sand with a very little clay. This type of soil feels rough to touch. It is light brownish in color. Sandy soil has large sized particle and therefore allows water to drain easily. As such, it retains very little water. This type of soil is not suitable for growing crops. However, certain fruits and vegetables can be grown if it is irrigated regularly. Clay soil. What is clay soil? Clay soil is mostly made up of clay with a little amount of sand. This soil feels smooth and slippery to touch and it is greyish brown in color. Particles present in the clay soil are smaller in size and therefore do not allow water to pass through easily. Thus, clay soil retains a lot of water, making it sticky and slippery. To improve this soil, chalk can be added. Loamy soil. What is loamy soil? Loamy soil is made up of a mixture of sand and clay. In addition, it has high humus content. This soil is crumbled and dark but not gritted, smooth or slippery. Since loamy soil contains roughly equal proportion of big and small particles, it is porous enough to retain just enough water for use by plants. Moreover, due to the high humus content, it is the ideal soil for cultivation of plant. Okay students, so highly cultivation plant is for loamy soil. And then after the properties of soil, I think we will just finish this chapter. No, this will I think not finish in this video. In the next video, this chapter will be finished. Properties of soil. Different types of soil have different properties which helps us to differentiate them between them. These properties are water absorption capacity of soil, moisture present in the soil and the rate at which water passes through the soil. So, 3 properties. According to this property, we have to just divide these. Water absorption capacity of soil means how much water can be absorbed by the soil. The another one is plants obtain water from the soil. The water absorption capacity of a soil determines the amount of water available for plant growing in the particular soil. Therefore, the more water of a soil absorbs, the more water will be available to plant. Activity. To find out the water absorption capacity of different soil samples, materials needed: 2 conical flasks or equal capacity, 2 funnels, 2 gram and 20 gram clear filter paper and water. You can see in the given picture. Place the funnel over the mouth of the conical flask, fold the filter paper and cover the inside of the funnel, the place of 20 gram of sand in one funnel and 20 gram of clay in another. Pour 50 ml of water in over both soil samples. Observe the water dripping and from below the funnel into the conical flask. Once the water stops dripping from the both sample, measure the amount of water collected in the flask. Calculate the amount of water absorbed by using the formula A is equal to initial minus final water collected 500 minus water collected observation. The amount of the water collected in the conical flask placed below sand is more than that of the clay. Why? Because clay just absorb more water than the sand. Then comes moisture in soil. So, if you take a little soil in a bowl and heat it, you will find tiny droplets of water condensing near the mouth of the bowl. When soil is heated, water present is changed into the water vapor, which cools and condenses as water droplets on the mouth of the test tube, and water is present in the form of moisture in the soil. Different soils types have different amount of moisture in them. For example, clay will have more moisture than sand. The amount of the moisture in the soil determines whether the plant can grow or not. Means in the clay there is more amount of water than the sandy soil. Percolation rate of water in soil. So, the rate at which water can pass through the soil is known as a percolation rate. The more porous the soil, the higher is its percolation rate. Different soil have different rates with which water pass through them. Soil composed of bigger soil particles will have more space for water to pass through quickly. On other hand, soil composed of smaller particles will tightly packed and will have lesser space. So, if therefore hold water for long time and not allowed to pass water easily, too much water is the soil clogs the airspace, make it difficult for plants to breathe. And here the activity is given to find out the percolation rate of the different types of the soil. A water can, a measuring jar, a kurpi, 3 transparent pieces, pipe, soft drink, bottle cut off both side, water, 3 soil samples, sandy, loamy and clay, and stopwatch. Go to the garden and dig out 3 holes. Fix the 3 plastic bottles upright. Fill the 3/4 of each bottle with a sample. Now, measure the amount of the water poured, the same amount of the water in each sample. Note the time when the pour water into each soil sample and the time when all the water has been absorbed by the 3 samples. Do the same for each sample. Find out the percolation rate of the water. Percolation rate, amount of the water poured, means the amount of the water we added, and percolation time, how much amount of the time just absorbed for that observation. Which of these 3 has the highest percolation rate, which has the lowest? You will notice that sand has the highest percolation rate. They will just move water fastly than the other, and the lowest and the least will have the loam. Clay has the lowest percolation rate, means clay soil will not allow pass the water easily. Okay students, now fertility of soil, soil erosion, soil pollution, that we will see in the next video. In your homework you have to do is so in your homework okay students, you have to do that, and in next video I will write the answers and you just verify your answer. Okay students, we will meet in the next video. Okay, bye students.